Conservatives are accusing Ilhan Omar of calling Trump voters all idiots, but was she talking about all Trump voters or just Republican members of Congress that she's had feuds with? Let's watch and let you decide.
I thought I'd seen everything, and I've seen a lot of attacks on you. But now you have a Republican colleague, dare I say, in the House saying to deport an American citizen, an American lawmaker, an elected representative. How do you deal with that?
I mean, these people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Hassan also criticized media for repeating crazy claims. Let's watch.
I do not speak Somali, and I'm basing this on the translation that he retweeted here. And this is guidance that we have heard from many immigration advocates. But Musk says that you are, quote, breaking the law literally outright.
Is it helpful when news anchors and journalists just repeat crazy claims from Trump or Musk or Brandon Gill?
No, I mean, and I think the thing that is unfortunate about the media is that they will say, Elon says, and they won't say, like, the judge said this is illegal when they're talking about the executive orders
Elon's looking for fraud, even though there's no fraud
that are being shut down. Or, they will repeat these things. And I think, frankly, it is malpractice. And it does a complete disservice to the American people.
But Omar did have some criticism for her fellow Democrats. Let's watch.
People would argue that a Chuck Schumer isn't bringing the energy that someone like an AOC or yourself has been able to rally up. Is it time that the Democratic Party leadership hands over the torch to some younger, more energetic leaders?
Well, yes. And I would say, we had a Trump presidency where Nancy Pelosi was his opposition, and she understood the moment. And so age is not just the only factor.
The right blasted Ilhan Omar. Congresswoman Nancy Mace wrote on X, Ilhan Omar says Americans are dumb and hates free speech. She says it quite clearly in this clip. How do these people keep getting elected? Independent journalist Brianna Morello wrote on X, Ilhan Omar just called Americans dumb. I agree with her. Americans are dumb. We were dumb enough to let her in. Representative Dwayne Juncker wrote on X, Ilhan Omar is so much hate for America, we should have left her in Mogadishu, Somalia, so we wouldn't have to listen to her call Americans stupid.
Can I just object, first of all, to that last tweet there about leaving people in Mogadishu? I mean, that's ridiculous stuff, and completely aside from the point of what she said or she didn't say. I am glad that we played the full clip, the first clip, of the Mehdi Hassan question, because that clip was mostly shorn of the question on social media when the interview was being picked up by people of a conservative disposition. And the reason the question is so important, in my view, is because Hassan is asking her about a specific threat that makes no sense. It was Congressman Brandon Gill who had suggested that Ilhan Omar should be deported in a fundraising email. She is an American citizen, and so short of her relinquishing her citizenship, which she presumably is not going to do, she cannot be deported. So she is well within her rights to describe that proposal as idiotic and to push back against it strongly. Removing the question created the impression that she was calling Americans idiots, and we saw Nancy Mace and other people pick up on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was necessarily speaking highly of people on the right more broadly, although I will concede your point that she was not. It started with addressing the congressman who had said that thing, which is obviously not correct. You can't just deport people we disagree with. That's not going to work. She does say at one point, referring to, I don't know if she's just referring to Republican congressmen or, people on the right more broadly. She said something along the lines of allowed to say the most ridiculous things. And then Mehdi Hassan, in his question, also had a framing of, why are they, why is the media repeating things that people on the right say that are not true? All of that does trouble me, the level of, oh, people are allowed to say things I don't like or that I think are dumb, that speaks to this fundamental free speech issue we sometimes get into, that you may not like it or you might not agree with it, but in this country is a place where people are allowed to say things that are dissenting or contrarian or even wrong, and the media no longer has any control over who gets to speak, and I think that is broadly a good thing. I mean, I'm sure people on the right would point to any number of things that they think Democrats believe that are dumb or stupid, including on cultural issues, how many genders there are, biology, the vast attempts to pretend for weeks and weeks and weeks that President Biden was fit to be the president, and so on.
Yeah, but
I don't think any of them should be silenced for thinking those things.
Well, you and I have had that debate, and we have differing views on the free speech argument writ large. In that particular case with the Mehdi Hassan question, I actually don't think that that's what he was asking. I think his point was something different, which I do think is very valid to ask, which is the propensity in the media generally to ask, to simply enable the most inflammatory voices by simply asking people to respond to all kinds of wild claims. So in this case, to be fair to Mehdi, he is asking her about the deportation claim, which is a nonsensical claim, in a more meta kind of way. But when people are asked, like, so Elon Musk says that you are whatever, some ludicrous claim, then that becomes the central topic of debate. I'm not sure that Mehdi's saying those people should be prohibited from saying that. I think he's arguing that the media shouldn't always just amplify the most ludicrous claims by making those the focus of discussion.
Yeah, but I don't think I agree with that, frankly. Elon Musk is making news. I mean, the media not talking about it doesn't prevent you from hearing about it. He has his own social media platform. There's many ways to get around the kind of gatekeeping function that the media did. So, just pretending that provocative or inflammatory things aren't being said, it doesn't really get around it. And it can be helpful to ask the person to respond to it and suck the oxygen out of it. I just don't think pretending that inflammatory things aren't being said or believed is going to work.
That it may not be going to work, but the question is whether it is the most useful thing from a journalistic perspective to constantly focus on those things at the expense of anything else. Because then you have a media landscape that is dominated by the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world. People on the right would perhaps say the Ilhan Omars of the world, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that the inflammatory things then become the central point. Anyway, my point, to get back to the where we started, is Ilhan Omar is being misrepresented here in what she said, that the comment from the congressman who wished to deport her is a stupid thing to say. I do find it amusing that people on the right are horrified that that she suggested that people are idiots whenever, Trump has mocked a reporter who was disabled or suggested that people protesting at rallies should be beaten up. So what she said is within the bounds of reason, and it is substantiated, and it's being either willfully or not willfully misrepresented.
Coming up next, criticism of X and online rhetoric from a perhaps unlikely source. We'll discuss. Stay tuned.